Everyone cowered in fear, except for bold humans. Ethan Brooks sat in the quiet observation room of the Galactic Council. He watched the large hollow screen flicker with images of burning worlds. Everywhere the Kraith swarm appeared, cities were destroyed in minutes. Entire star systems were falling, and no one dared to resist. Alien leaders whispered in panic. Some hid in their ships, others begged for mercy. Ethan did not speak at first. He looked at the council members and saw their fear. It was not normal fear. It was a deep, paralyzing kind, the kind that made leaders forget their duties. The Kraith swarm had no known weaknesses. Their ships were larger, stronger, and faster than anything in the galaxy. Their weapons could melt planets. Every species had tried to fight before, and every species had failed. The council president, a tall being named Vorin, with silver skin and glowing eyes, leaned forward. "We must surrender. There is no hope." "Humanity," he said, turning to Ethan. "You are young. Your people are weak. You cannot stop them." Ethan took a slow breath. His hands rested on the table. "We will not surrender," he said simply. His voice was calm. He did not shout. He did not argue. He only stated the truth of his people. The aliens looked at him as if he were foolish. "You are doomed," Vorin said.
"All other species have accepted the swarm. You will be next."
"We advise you to leave these chambers and prepare to surrender. Do not bring shame to yourselves." Ethan shook his head. "We cannot leave. We will find a way. Even if no one else believes us, we will try." A murmur spread through the room. Many council members gasped. Some laughed nervously. Others whispered to each other. The idea that humans might resist the swarm seemed impossible, but Ethan's calm courage gave a small spark of hope to a few younger aliens sitting at the back. Outside the council chambers, the galaxy burned in fear. The Kraith swarm moved quickly from system to system. They did not negotiate. They did not show mercy. Planets fell before they were even able to call for help. People ran into shelters. Governments collapsed. Entire fleets were destroyed before a battle could even begin. On a human colony near the edge of the galaxy, Maya Collins stood on the balcony of her home and watched the stars. She had heard the news from the council. The Kraith were moving closer. Many colonies had already fallen. Panic had reached the human worlds too, but Maya refused to give in. She gathered volunteers to prepare defenses. Ships were repaired. Old weapons were sharpened. People trained in drills. Maya moved quickly and calmly, telling everyone to stay focused. Fear could not paralyze them. Meanwhile, Ethan returned to the human flagship orbiting near the Council's home planet. He met with Liam Carter, the fleet commander. Liam was tense, pacing across the bridge. "We are too small," Liam said. "The Kraith will destroy us all. No one else will fight." "Maybe surrender is the only way." Ethan shook his head. "Surrender will only ensure we are gone. If we fight, even if we lose, we will have a chance to protect someone. That is all that matters." Liam looked at him. There was doubt in his eyes, but also a hint of respect. Humans had never backed down, even when the odds were against them. Even when their ships were older and their numbers smaller, they stood together. That was something no alien species could understand. The Kraith fleet appeared first at a small human outpost. Its defenses were minimal. Most other species would have fled immediately. But humans stayed. Ships launched into space. Lasers lit up the darkness. Humans used their knowledge of the terrain. Small fighters flew between asteroids, striking quickly and disappearing. The swarm was confused. No other species had ever tried this. No one had ever resisted. News spread fast. Alien broadcasts showed images of human ships dodging attacks. Some Kraith vessels were destroyed. It was small, but significant. Other species watched in disbelief. "How is it possible?" one alien whispered. "They are weak. They cannot fight. Yet they resist." Back on the Council's home planet, Borin pounded the table. "This is unacceptable. Humans cannot do this. We must find a way to force them to surrender. Ethan smiled faintly. He had seen this reaction many times before. Fear could make the strong weak, but courage could make the small strong. That was humanity's way. Humans did not fear the impossible. They faced it. Sometimes they failed. Sometimes they succeeded. But they never cowered. And the following days, human engineers worked day and night. Ships were patched together from old models. Fighters were built from parts of cargo vessels. They were not the best. They were not perfect. But humans made them work. Maya supervised the construction personally. She encouraged every worker, every soldier. "If we stand together, the swarm cannot break us," she told them. Meanwhile, alien species continued to panic. Entire fleets retreated. Leaders begged for mercy. Some even destroyed their own ships to avoid fighting. They could not comprehend the human courage. Fear had frozen them. Humans, in contrast, were busy preparing for war. Ethan met with the Human Fleet Council again. "We do not have many ships," he said. "We do not have the largest weapons. But we have something the Krayev do not expect. We have courage, and we have will." "That may be enough," Liam nodded slowly. "Then we fight. Not for glory. Not for victory. We fight so that someone else may survive. That is all we can do." The first human fleet moved to intercept the Kraith swarm near a mining colony. The swarm expected surrender. They did not expect resistance. Humans attacked with small fighters darting between larger ships. They fired quickly and retreated into asteroid fields. They used traps made from mined asteroids. Each human ship was smaller but faster. Each maneuver was risky but precise. The aliens watching the battle could not understand it. "Why are they not scared?" one officer asked. "They should be begging for mercy." "They are not like us," another replied. "Their courage is different." It is not blind. It is deliberate. Ethan stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the battle unfold. Every move was tense. Every laser fired was a risk, but humans did not panic. Even when ships were damaged or destroyed, they pressed forward. The swarm had never faced a species that fought in this way. Every loss the humans took slowed the Kraith. Every small victory gave hope to humans and confused their enemies. Back on the colony, Maya received reports of the human fleet's progress. She allowed herself a small smile. Fear was everywhere in the galaxy. Humans felt fear too, but they did not let it control them. They acted. They moved. They resisted. That was the difference. Even the smallest human victory spread across communications networks. Other colonies saw humans fight. Some joined them. Some began to believe that the Kraiths were not invincible. Courage was contagious. Where humans stood, hope followed. The Kraith swarm did not understand hope. They had destroyed countless species before. None had resisted like this. Their strategy failed again and again against the human tactics. They were strong, yes, but they were not clever enough to anticipate human unpredictability. Humans used courage and intelligence together. That combination had never been seen by the Kraith. At the council, Voran could not hide his worry. "They are humans," he said, almost to himself. "Why do they resist? Why do they not fear death?" Ethan simply replied, "Because they do not fight for themselves alone. They fight for others. That is why they are different." As the first part of the story ends, the galaxy watches humans stand firm. While every other species cowers in fear, humans prepare, act, and resist. Small victories inspire the next steps. The stage is set for the bold humans to challenge what no one else dared to fight. The Kraith swarm had never met a species like humanity. The galaxy had never seen courage like this. And Ethan, Maya, and Liam knew one thing. Fear might be everywhere, but humans would not kneel. They would not run. They would face the impossible. And this was only the beginning. The galaxy had fallen into chaos. Systems once proud and strong now floated empty. Their cities destroyed, their fleets gone. Wherever the Kraith swarm moved, They left death in their wake. Alien species surrendered without a fight. Governments dissolved. Leaders fled or begged for mercy. Panic was everywhere. Fear was a chain binding the galaxy. Yet humans did not kneel. On the human colony of Ardent, 3. Maya Collins walked through a busy shipyard. Workers were repairing old fighters and cargo ships. Engineers welded metal, tested engines, and reprogrammed weapons. Soldiers practiced drills with small arms. Children watched from behind barricades, learning courage by seeing it in action. Maya spoke with calm authority. "Check the shields. Make sure the engines are stable. If anything fails, we cannot lose even one ship." Her voice carried a quiet confidence that made everyone focus. Humans were scared, yes, but they moved. Fear did not stop them. It fueled their preparation. In the command center, Ethan Brooks stood before a large tactical map. He studied the Kraith movements. Every fleet, every strike point, every destroyed colony was marked. He spoke with Liam Carter, the fleet commander, and Elena Moore, a young human strategist.
"The Kraith move fast," Ethan said.
"But they expect everyone to run. They think fear will do the work for them. They are wrong. If we act now, we can slow them. Even if we cannot stop them completely, we can protect colonies and buy time." Liam ran a hand through his hair. "We don't have many ships. Some of our fleets are outdated, and we are outnumbered." Ethan smiled faintly. "Then we fight smart. We fight like humans always fight. We use what we have, not what we wish we had." Elena nodded. "I've been analyzing their attack patterns. They assume obedience. They expect surrender. If we act unpredictably, we can force mistakes. One fleet here, one strike there. They cannot anticipate everything." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, alien species continued to cower. Entire fleets jumped away at the sight of the swarm. Leaders ordered their citizens to hide. Some destroyed their own ships to prevent them from falling into Kraith's hands. Fear had completely overtaken them. Humans, however, did not have time to fear. Every colony became a center of activity. Weapons were repaired, ships were modified, soldiers trained in drills that were unusual even for humans. Some were taught to fight in extreme environments, inside asteroid belts, or near volatile star systems. Humans improvised constantly, turning old cargo vessels into fighters. Nothing was wasted. Every small advantage was used. At the shipyard, Maya walked to a group of young engineers. "We may not have the largest fleet," she said, "but we have speed, intelligence, and courage. Every ship we repair, every weapon we prepare, matters. We cannot wait for miracles. We make them ourselves." The young engineers nodded, their fears slowly replaced by determination. Humans had a strange way of turning panic into action. It was not blind courage. It was deliberate. It was choice. And it spread. Ethan and Liam prepared the first strike group. They could not wait for the Kraith to come. Waiting meant more colonies would fall.
"We strike where they least expect us," Ethan said. "We are not trying to win the war yet.
We are trying to slow them down, to save lives." The first human fleet moved quietly through a remote system. Small fighters darted between planets and asteroids. They moved fast, hitting Kraith's supply ships before vanishing again. The swarm's massive warships could not react quickly. They expected surrender, not resistance. The aliens observing this attack were shocked. "How can such small ships do this?" one officer whispered. "They should be crushed immediately." "They are humans," another replied. "They fight when others flee. They do not fear as we do. It is unnatural." Back on Ardent, 3. Maya received reports from the field. One strike group had taken out a Kraith supply convoy. Another had disabled a small warship. Losses were few. It was not a victory, but it was enough to inspire hope. Maya smiled at her officers. "Every time we fight, we prove something. Not to the Kraith, but to ourselves. Fear is not stronger than courage." Ethan coordinated with Elena on the tactical map. "They are learning," she said. The Kraith are confused. They expected panic, but we are organized chaos. We are unpredictable. They cannot control it. Liam leaned closer. We are risking the lot. One wrong move, and we lose ships. One mistake, and a colony falls. Yes, Ethan agreed. But we cannot do nothing. Humans never wait for perfect conditions. We act. That is what makes us strong. Meanwhile, on another human colony, Jordan Miller, a young fleet officer, prepared volunteers for evacuation drills. Civilians had nowhere to hide, so they trained to help each other. Some learned to pilot fighters quickly. Others learned to repair damaged ships under fire. Fear existed, but humans did not let it stop them. Every citizen was part of the defense. The Kraith did not expect it. They had destroyed countless civilizations before. None had resisted like this. The swarm expected surrender, or at least hesitation. Humans gave neither. Small human victories began to spread across communications networks. Other human colonies saw that resistance was possible. Some began to prepare their own defenses instead of waiting to be destroyed. Ethan, Liam, and Elena planned the next strike carefully. "We must hit them again," Ethan said. "We are outnumbered. We cannot win by strength."
But we can win by cleverness. We hit one weak point, then another.
We do not fight their entire force at once. Elena pointed at the map. Here, near the asteroid belt, they have a supply line. If we strike fast and retreat, we can slow them significantly. Liam frowned. It will be dangerous. The swarm has patrols there. One mistake and we lose half our fleet. Ethan nodded. We take the risk. That is what humans do. We face danger because we refuse to let it control us. The humans launched the next attack. Small ships flew through asteroid fields, using debris as cover. They struck quickly at supply lines and retreated before the Kraith could respond. The swarm was confused and frustrated. Their usual tactics failed. Humans adapted faster than they could anticipate. Alien species watching began to question their own decisions. "Why are humans doing this?" one whispered. "Why do they not flee?" "They are different," another said.
They fight when all others hide. Their courage is not simple bravery.
It is deeper. It is will. Meanwhile, back on Ardent 3, Maya oversaw repairs on a damaged fighter. A young pilot approached her nervously. "We almost lost him," he said. Maya nodded. "Yes, we did. But he survived. And he will fight again. Fear is normal. But it must not stop us. Humans act despite fear. That is what makes us strong." Even among the humans themselves, stories of bravery spread quickly. Civilians helped soldiers. Engineers repaired ships faster than expected. Pilots risked their lives repeatedly. Every small victory became part of a shared history. Every defeat taught lessons for the next engagement. Fear was acknowledged, but never allowed to dominate. In the council chambers, alien leaders watched human broadcasts. They saw humans standing, fighting, preparing. Fear had paralyzed them, yet humans thrived in it. Some began to wonder if humanity could do what no other species could: resist the Kraith swarm.
Ethan, Liam, and Elena knew the challenges ahead.
The Kraith were still strong. Entire fleets of humans would be tested in the coming battles. But part of humanity's strength was already clear. They refused to kneel. They refused to surrender before the impossible. That courage inspired hope not only among humans but in some of the younger alien species who secretly followed their progress. As night fell on Ardent 3, Maya stood on the balcony again, watching stars. Reports from the fleet continued to arrive. Humans had slowed the Kraith advance in several sectors. It was small, but it was proof that resistance was possible. She whispered to herself, "They expect fear. We will give them courage instead." Across the galaxy, humans continued to prepare. Fleets repaired. Ships armed. Pilots trained. Civilians learned to survive in dangerous environments. Everyone contributed. Everyone had a role. Fear was everywhere, but humans acted in spite of it. The Kraith swarm had faced many civilizations before. None had resisted like this. Humans had not yet won any major battles, but they had proven something no one else had. Courage could slow even the strongest enemy. And so, as the galaxy fell into chaos, humans stood ready. They prepared for the next encounter. They trained. They built. They fought small victories. Every human action was deliberate. Every human choice was a step forward. Where others fled, humans faced danger. Where others hid, humans worked tirelessly. Where others surrendered, humans prepared. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Humans were small, young, and underestimated, but they were bold. They were clever. And most importantly, they refused to kneel. The Kraith swarm had not yet met its equal. Humans were only beginning to show what they could do, and the galaxy watched, wondering, could humans really be the difference between hope and extinction? The Kraith swarm was coming closer. Entire human colonies were ready. Civilians had been evacuated, ships repaired, and soldiers trained. For weeks, humans had been preparing for this moment. Unlike other species, they did not hide. They did not surrender. They waited to fight. Ethan Brooks stood on the bridge of the flagship Endeavor. The tactical map glowed in front of him, showing the positions of the Kraith fleet. Hundreds of ships moved in dark space, fast and deadly. Humans had only a fraction of their numbers, but they had strategy. They had courage, and they had no fear that could paralyze them. "Reports from the perimeter," said Liam Carter, pacing the bridge. "The Kraith are scouting ahead. They think we will flee. They expect us to surrender." Ethan shook his head. "They expect the galaxy to behave as it always does. They do not understand humans. We do not surrender. Not now. Not ever." Elena Moore, the young strategist, studied the map. "If we split our forces, use the asteroid fields, and strike their supply lines, we can slow them. Their main fleet is too large to engage directly, but if we force them to react, we control the battlefield." Liam frowned. "It is risky. If we make a mistake, we lose a lot of ships. We cannot replace them quickly."
"Then we cannot make mistakes," Ethan said.
"Humans are not perfect. We will do our best. That is all anyone can do." The first human strike fleet left the safety of the colony system. Small ships darted through asteroid belts, using debris as cover. Larger vessels hung back, ready to support. Every move was calculated. Every pilot knew the risk. The Kraith fleet noticed the humans and moved to intercept them. Massive warships glowed with deadly energy. Their weapons could melt metal and rock. Most species would have run at the first sign of them. Most species had already run. Humans did not. Jordan Miller, a young pilot, led the first wave of fighters. He had trained for this his entire life. "Stay close. Strike fast. Retreat if needed," he said over the comms. His voice was steady, but adrenaline rushed through him. "We can do this. We have to." The fighters darted in and out, striking Kraith supply ships. Lasers flashed in the darkness. Explosions lit up the asteroid field. The swarm did not expect this. They were used to surrender, to obedience, to panic. Humans gave none of these. Ethan watched from the flagship bridge. Every move was tense. Every ship mattered. The Kraith fired their massive cannons, but the human fighters were small, fast, and clever. They avoided most of the blasts. When one of their ships was hit, another human ship covered the retreat, saving their ally. Humans worked together. They fought as one. The Kraith officers on their command ships could not understand it.
"Why do they resist?" one growled. "They are weak."
"Their ships are small. They cannot fight." "They do not fear us," another replied. "They act despite the danger. Their courage, it is unusual. It is unnatural." Meanwhile, on Ardent 3, Maya Collins and her team watched the battle unfold through communication screens. Reports kept coming in. Small human victories appeared everywhere. Supply ships destroyed, scouting ships eliminated, damaged warships forced to retreat. The humans did not have a huge fleet. They did not have the largest weapons, but they fought with intelligence, speed, and courage. Maya smiled. They expect panic. We give them courage instead. That is the difference. In space, the Kraith fleet advanced further. They sent attack waves against human positions. Their main weapons fired on clusters of human ships. Explosions rocked the smaller vessels. Yet humans adapted. Pilots learned quickly. Engineers modified their ships mid-battle. Even civilians trained in defense had roles to play, sending emergency repairs to ships under fire. Liam Carter gave orders calmly. Reinforce the left flank. Use the asteroid cover. Draw them in. Do not let them control the battlefield, Ethan added. Remember, we are not fighting to destroy them yet. We are fighting to survive, to protect, and to slow them. Every Kraith ship we force to react is a victory. The Kraith did not anticipate the humans' willingness to sacrifice small victories for a larger strategy. Every damaged human ship was replaced by another in a different formation. Every retreat was used to lure the swarm into traps. The swarm expected predictable behavior. Humans were unpredictable. On the front lines, young pilot Lily Adams led a group of fighters into the thick of battle. Her ship shuddered under laser fire. "Keep going!"
"We can make them fall back!"
she shouted. Her friends followed. They weaved through enemy lines, firing where they could, retreating when needed. One human ship was destroyed, but 5 Kraith ships were damaged in the same maneuver. Alien observers across the galaxy gasped at what they were seeing. "How can they do this?" one said. "They are weak. They should be dead." "They are humans," another whispered. "They fight when all others flee. That is why they are different. That is why they survive." Ethan and Elena coordinated strikes from the flagship. "Target the supply lines here and here," Elena said. "If we hit these points, the Kraith will be forced to split their fleet." Liam nodded. "Send the next wave." "Use small ships. Move fast. We cannot hold here forever, but we can control the battlefield." As the humans struck, the Kraith realized they were not facing a normal enemy. Small ships emerged from asteroid fields to attack large vessels. Fighters struck supply lines and disappeared. The swarm had never faced such tactics. They adapted slowly, making mistakes that humans exploited. Even minor victories boosted morale. Reports from the fleet showed that the Kraith had been slowed in several sectors. Ships had retreated for repairs. Supply lines were broken temporarily. Humans had no illusions of victory yet, but they had made the impossible visible. On Ardent, Pack 3. Maya received updates from the field. "We may have lost some ships," she said, "but every Kraith ship forced to retreat is a success. Every colony protected is a success. Fear does not control us. Courage does." Back in space, the Kraith commanders were frustrated. They are not afraid. They fight even when the odds are against them. How can this be? No species has resisted like this. "They are humans," one admitted reluctantly. "They fight for more than themselves. That is what makes them dangerous." Ethan gave orders for the next maneuver. "We will fall back slightly. Draw them into the asteroid belt. Then we strike." Small victories matter more than glory. Remember that. The Kraith advanced into the trap. Human ships darted out from asteroids, striking warships at weak points. The swarm was forced to divide their forces, leaving gaps in their formation. Small human teams destroyed supply ships and weakened larger vessels. Every move was calculated. Every strike was bold. Young pilot Jordan Miller reported, "We damaged 3 warships and forced the main fleet to retreat. The asteroid trap worked." "Good work," Ethan said calmly. "Remember, we are buying time. Every moment counts. Every life counts. This is how humans fight, not just for themselves, but for others."
Across the galaxy, alien species took note.
Some began to reconsider their decisions. Some even quietly prepared their fleets again. Inspired by humans, Fear was no longer absolute. Humans were changing how others saw courage. The first human stand had been unexpected, but it had been successful. The swarm had slowed. Their advance had been disrupted. Humans had proven that they could fight when all others fled. Small victories built hope. Courage replaced despair. On the bridge of the flagship, Ethan looked at the stars. "This is only the beginning," he said. "We have slowed them. We have survived. That is all that matters right now." Liam Carter nodded. "And we have shown the galaxy that humans do not kneel. Not now. Not ever." Elena Moore added quietly, "We may be small, but we are bold. And boldness can change everything." The Kraith had never faced an enemy like humanity. Their strength alone could not defeat humans. They would have to learn to expect courage, strategy, and the unpredictable. For the first time, the Kraith were challenged not by weapons alone, but by willpower, intelligence, and courage that refused to yield. And so, the first stand was over. Humans had survived. Humans had resisted. And the galaxy began to realize that courage could matter as much as strength. The next battles would be harder. The Kraith were far from defeated. But humans had proven something incredible. Even in the face of unstoppable fear, they could stand. And when humans stood, no one expected what they could achieve. The Kraith swarm had not expected resistance. They had been used to obedience, to surrender, to fear. Every species before humans had fled or begged for mercy. Every species had fallen. Humans were different. On the human flagship Endeavor, Ethan Brooks watched the reports from the front lines. Small human fleets had slowed the Kraith advance, forced supply ships to retreat, and damaged several warships. Every movement was precise. Every strike had a purpose. Humans were not fighting to impress or conquer. They were fighting to survive, to protect others, and to prove that fear did not control them. Liam Carter paced the bridge. The Kraith are adapting, but they are slower than us. They cannot predict human tactics. Every time they think they understand us, we change the game.
Elena Moore studied the map. We are small, but we are clever.
If we continue to strike unpredictably, we can force mistakes, buy more time, and even turn some systems into safe zones. The Kraith do not understand that courage can change the flow of battle. In the galaxy beyond, alien species were starting to notice. Once, every other species had cowered at the sight of the swarm. Now fleets that had retreated were quietly preparing again. Some smaller species sent scouts to observe the humans. They saw humans fighting, humans surviving, humans standing when all others fell. Maya Collins walked through the repair bay on Ardent 3. She checked ships, encouraged engineers, and spoke with soldiers. "We do not have to win every battle," she told them. "We only have to stand. We only have to fight. Courage is stronger than fear. Remember that." A young engineer, Caleb Turner, looked up nervously. "But the Kraith, they are so strong. We are small." Maya smiled. "Strength is not everything. Intelligence, courage, and willingness to act matter more. Fear cannot defeat us if we refuse to let it." The humans had a plan. Small fleets would continue to strike at weak points. Supply lines would be disrupted. The Kraith would be forced to split their fleet to defend themselves. They could not crush humans with numbers alone, because humans fought unpredictably. In space, Ethan gave orders. "We strike at the northern supply lines, use small ships to force the Kraiths to react. Avoid direct confrontation with the main fleet. Every Kraith ship we slow is a victory." The strike fleet moved into position. Fighters darted between asteroid belts, using debris as cover. Larger ships fired from hidden positions, taking advantage of the swarm's confusion. The Kraith fired back, but their massive weapons could not track the small, fast human ships. Jordan Miller led the front wave. "Stay close, stay fast," he said. "We fight together, or we fail together. Keep moving. Keep striking." The Kraith did not expect it. Their warships were damaged, their supply lines cut, and their advance slowed. They realized that humans did not fight like other species. Humans were willing to risk everything, not for glory, but for others. Alien observers were confused. Why do they fight this way? One asked. They are small, young, and weak. They should surrender. But they do not. They fight with purpose. They are humans, another replied quietly. They do not fight for themselves alone. They fight for others. That is what makes them different. That is what makes them dangerous. On Ardent 3, Maya and her officers coordinated the next wave of repairs. Every damaged ship was patched, every weapon recalibrated. Civilians helped engineers, delivering supplies and working tirelessly. Humans had turned preparation into a weapon. Fear existed, but they refused to let it control them. Ethan watched the communications. Reports kept coming. Small fleets had forced the Krayt to retreat in multiple sectors. Some warships had been destroyed. Supply lines were crippled. Humans were still outnumbered, but they had created openings, weak points, and confusion.
Look at the reports, Elena said.
The Krayt fleet is splitting. They are reacting too slowly. Our small attacks are working better than expected. The galaxy is starting to notice us. Liam Carter nodded. We cannot celebrate yet. The swarm is still powerful. But humans have proven that courage can change the flow of battle. Fear is no longer absolute. Across the galaxy, alien species who had fled were watching. Some cautiously restarted their fleets. Some sent supplies to human colonies. They had seen what humans could do. Courage had forced the Krayt to retreat in places. Fear was no longer the only choice. Humans had changed the rules. In the asteroid fields near the northern sectors, human strike fleets continued to attack. Fighters darted between enemy warships, lasers flashing. Supply convoys exploded, warships were forced to turn back. Every small success built confidence. Every move inspired the next action.
Jordan Miller reported again. We forced the main fleet to split.
Several of their warships are damaged. Supply lines are disrupted. We can hold them longer. Ethan replied calmly. Good. Remember, every small success matters. Every victory gives hope. Humans fight with courage, not fear. That is what the galaxy must learn. Meanwhile, Maya oversaw training on Ardent 3. Civilians were learning survival skills. Soldiers were learning new tactics. Engineers were building new ships. Fear was everywhere in the galaxy, but humans acted despite it. Every day of preparation strengthened them. Every small victory showed that courage could inspire even those who had cowered. Back in the Krayt command fleet, officers were frustrated. Humans are not afraid. They fight when all others hide. They destroy supply lines, damage ships, and survive impossible attacks. Why do they not panic?
They are humans, one officer said reluctantly. They fight for more than themselves.
That is why they are dangerous. That is why they survive. Ethan coordinated the next human strike. We will draw them into the northern asteroid field, he said. They think we are retreating, but it is a trap. We can damage multiple warships at once. Every strike counts. Every strike matters. The strike fleet moved carefully. Fighters went ahead. Larger ships followed, and the Krayt fell into the trap. Lasers flashed. Explosions lit the asteroid field. Several Krayt warships were damaged. Supply lines were cut again. Human courage and strategy had forced mistakes. Alien species watching began to whisper among themselves. Humans are not weak. They are clever. They are brave. We must reconsider our choices.
On Ardent 3, Maya smiled at the reports. The galaxy is starting to see what we already know.
Courage can change the course of battle. Fear does not have to control anyone. Humans stand when others fall. In the following days, humans continued to strike and defend. Small victories turned into larger ones. Supply lines were constantly harassed. The Krayt could not predict human movements. Every attack bought time for other species to recover, to prepare, and to contribute. Ethan, Liam and Elena worked tirelessly, planning each strike, analyzing each result, and adjusting strategies. Humans had no illusions of victory yet, but they had proven that fear could be challenged, courage could inspire hope, and hope could change the galaxy. Even small actions mattered. Civilians repaired ships under fire. Pilots risked everything to save allies. Engineers built weapons and ships with incredible speed. Every human action contributed to a larger plan. The Kraith had never faced such resistance. They had destroyed countless civilizations, but humans were different. Humans were willing to act despite fear. Humans were willing to sacrifice, to improvise, to survive. Every encounter left the swarm frustrated and confused. Ethan looked at the map again.
The galaxy is watching. Humans have not yet won, but we have shown that courage can slow the unstoppable.
Fear is losing its grip. Liam Carter nodded.
The galaxy will never be the same.
Humans are bold. Humans act when all others flee. And now, everyone will start to see it. Elena added quietly, courage spreads. Fear can be replaced. That is what we are teaching the galaxy. That is what humans do best. The first major human campaign against the Kraith was over. Supply lines were crippled. Warships were damaged. Fleets were split. Humans had acted when others fled. Humans had turned fear into action. The galaxy had begun to notice. Alien species who had cowered now wondered if humans could lead them. Fear was no longer total. Courage had changed sides, and humans had proven once again that even in the face of the impossible, they would stand. The next battles would be harder. The Kraith would not make the same mistakes twice. But humans had shown that bravery and intelligence could challenge even the strongest enemy, and for the first time, the galaxy began to believe that humans were not just survivors. They were bold, they were clever, and they were the difference between fear and hope. The Kraith swarm had grown angry. Their supply lines were broken, their warships damaged, and their advance slowed. They had never faced resistance like this. Every species they had met before had fled or surrendered. Humans were different. Humans did not kneel. Humans fought. Ethan Brooks stood on the bridge of the flagship Endeavour, looking at the tactical map. The Kraith fleet was massive, but it had been divided by human strikes. Small human fleets had harassed their supply lines, destroyed warships, and forced retreats. Every move had been risky, but humans had acted with intelligence and courage. Liam Carter joined him. They are stronger than ever. But they are confused. They cannot predict us. Every strike has slowed them. Every plan has worked better than we expected.
Elena Moore study the reports. They are learning to fear us.
We have turned their confidence into hesitation. Humans have shown them that courage matters, and courage spreads faster than fear. In the galaxy, alien species were beginning to take note, and after that, we're at the spot of various events he's apt to captures. Systems that had surrendered began to rebuild. Fleets that had retreated cautiously returned. The galaxy had started to see that humans could resist what others could not. Courage inspired hope, and hope inspired action. On Ardent 3, Maya Collins walked through the shipyard. Engineers were finishing repairs on damaged ships. Pilots trained tirelessly. Civilians carried supplies, checked weapons, and prepared medical stations. Fear existed, yes, but humans refused to let it stop them. Every task mattered. Every person mattered. A young pilot, Lily Adams, ran up to Maya.
The fleet is ready, Commander.
We can launch the next strike now. Maya smiled. Good. We do not fight for glory. We fight for survival, for others, and for courage itself. Remember that. Ethan and Liam prepared the human fleet for the decisive battle. They would face the main Kraith force near the Galactic core. The Kraith had concentrated their strength there, confident that no species could stand against them. They had never faced humanity at full force. We are outnumbered, Liam said, but we have strategy.
We have courage. That is more than they expect. Ethan nodded. Humans never kneel.
That is our strength. We fight when all others hide. We fight to protect, not just to survive. That is why we will change the battle. The human fleet moved into position. Smaller fighters darted between asteroids, while larger ships hung back, ready to provide support. Every pilot knew the risks. Every engineer knew that a single mistake could cost lives. But every human acted without hesitation. Courage had replaced fear. Jordan Miller led the first wave. Keep formation. Hit fast. Retreat when needed. We do not fight for ourselves alone. We fight for everyone. The Kraith noticed the humans. Massive warships glowed with deadly energy. Their cannons fired at the small human ships. Explosions lit the darkness. Some human ships were damaged, but others pressed forward. Every strike was coordinated. Every movement calculated. The Kraith were confused. They expected panic, fear, surrender. Humans gave none of these. Every attack slowed them. Every maneuver forced mistakes. The swarm was frustrated and growing desperate. Ethan gave orders calmly. Draw them into the asteroid belt. We will use it as cover. Fighters strike supply lines. Larger ships target warships' weak points.
Keep moving! Keep acting!
Courage is our weapon. Lily Adams reported, "We are in position. Targets are ready." "Good," Ethan said. "Strike!" Small fighters darted from behind asteroids. Lasers flashed. Explosions rocked the Kraith fleet. Supply ships were destroyed. Warships were damaged. The swarm had never faced such coordinated resistance. Every human ship, every strike, was bold. Every action mattered. Alien observers across the galaxy were amazed. "How can such small ships do this?" one whispered. "They are not afraid. They fight when all others flee."
They are humans, another said quietly. They fight for more than themselves.
That is why they survive. That is why they are dangerous. Back on Ardent 3, Maya watched the reports. The galaxy is beginning to see what we always knew. Courage can defeat fear. Humans do not kneel. Humans act when others flee. And now, the galaxy is learning it. The Kraith fleet tried to counterattack. Massive warships fired on human ships. Explosions shook small fighters. Some ships were destroyed. But humans adapted. Pilots used asteroid cover. Engineers repaired ships under fire. Every human acted as part of a greater whole. Courage replaced panic. Action replaced fear. Jordan Miller led another strike. "Do not stop. Every Kraith ship we damage protects others." Every strike matters. Ethan coordinated from the flagship. Focus on weak points. Strike where they least expect it. We are not just defending. We are teaching the galaxy that courage matters more than size. The Kraith were forced to retreat in places. Their supply lines were crippled. Warships were damaged. Their advance slowed. Humans had turned fear into a weapon against them. Courage had spread across the battlefield. Alien species who had fled were now inspired. Fleets began to return. Systems that had surrendered quietly rebuilt defenses. The galaxy had begun to follow human courage. Fear was losing control. Liam Carter observed the Kraith retreat. "They are strong, but they are hesitant now. They are learning to fear us." Humans have done what no other species could do. Elena Moore smiled. Courage spreads faster than fear. The galaxy is learning that humans do not kneel. On the battlefield, human pilots continued to strike. Fighters weaved between enemy warships. Lasers flashed. Explosions lit the darkness. Every small success built momentum. Every small victory inspired the next action. Even damaged ships continued to fight. Engineers repaired weapons while under attack. Civilians supplied fuel, ammunition, and medical care. Every human action mattered. Fear was present, but humans refused to let it control them. The Kraith fleet had never faced such determination. They had destroyed countless civilizations, but humans were different. Humans fought not for themselves alone. Humans fought for others. Every action was deliberate. Every strike was bold. Every choice mattered. Ethan looked at the reports. This is only the beginning, but we have shown the galaxy that courage can overcome fear. Humans have acted when all others hid. That is why we survive.
Maya spoke to the fleet on Ardent 3.
We do not fight for glory. We fight for courage. We fight for others. That is what makes us human. That is why no one can defeat us if we stand together. The Kraith fleet began to retreat. Their advance slowed significantly. Small human fleets had damaged warships, destroyed supply lines, and forced them to divide their forces. Humans had not yet destroyed the Kraith, but they had proven that courage could slow the strongest enemy. Alien species watched. Some who had fled began to follow human example. Some sent fleets to support humans. The galaxy was learning a new lesson. Fear could be challenged. Courage could inspire action. Ethan, Liam, and Elena coordinated the human fleet. "We are not done," Ethan said. "The Kraith are still dangerous, but we have proven that humans do not kneel. That is more important than any victory."
The decisive human campaign continued.
Fighters attacked supply lines. Warships struck at weak points. Every human action was calculated. Every human strike was bold. The Crane could not predict them. Every success inspired more courage across the galaxy. Jordan Miller reported again.
We have slowed them everywhere.
Supply lines destroyed. Warships damaged. Colonies safe. Humans have acted when all others fled. Ethan nodded.
Yes, that is our strength.
Courage is stronger than fear. Action is stronger than panic. Humans never kneel. Maya watched from Ardent 3. The galaxy will remember this. Humans have changed everything. Fear no longer controls the galaxy. Courage spreads, and we are the example. The Kraith fleet retreated further. Their advance was halted. Their confidence shattered. Humans had shown that size and strength alone could not win. Courage, intelligence, and determination could challenge even the strongest enemy. Ethan spoke to the fleet.
We have not won yet.
But we have proven something far more important. We have proven that humans do not kneel. We have inspired hope. We have shown courage. And that will change the galaxy forever. Liam Carter added,
Humans are bold.
They fight when all others hide. That is why the galaxy follows them. That is why we survive. That is why humans never kneel. Elena Moore smiled. Fear can never control those who act with courage. Humans have shown that. And the galaxy will never forget it.
The Kraith had been slowed.
Alien species had begun to fight again. Colonies had survived. Humans had acted when all others fled. Courage had replaced fear. The galaxy had learned a new lesson. Humans were small, young, and underestimated. But they were bold, clever, and fearless in the face of the impossible. And humanity had proven one final truth. Even in the darkest moments, even when the odds were impossible, humans never kneel. They stand, they fight, they survive, and when they do, they inspire the entire galaxy. The battle was over, but the legend of humanity had only just begun.